flowers of the Mimetes. It's quite nice. It's also quite interesting to see how the flowers are almost among the leaves, and it's quite obvious. And often you hear of sort of leaves being talked about as like, or bracts being talked about as modified leaves, and you can kind of see exactly how it happens here. But what you can also see is how the bits that have the pollen on are facing up, so that when the sugarbird or sunbird comes and puts its bill in, probing at the base for the nectar, it gets dusted with pollen. And it also shows one of the unique things of the Protea family, which is called pollen presentation. So if you look at all the little yellow bits, right, you can see these little yellow bits up here. That's actually pollen. There's pollen on them, and when they're very fresh, you can easily see it come off on your fingertips. You can try on some of them, and that's what the sugarbirds and sunbirds are getting all over their heads. But in fact, these aren't the anthers. These are the female parts of the flower. That's the stigma. And what's happening is that when the flower is developing, you see these feathery little things. You see there, the female parts are bent down and pushed up against the male parts inside these little feathers. Right, let me see if I can I might have to pick one just to show you. You see, and what actually happens is that as they mature, the anthers are inside the feathery bits and they are depositing pollen on the female bits. And as they mature, the female bits, this is not quite young and ripe, you see that comes out like that. And then it's full of pollen. And that's called pollen presenting, because it's actually presenting the pollen from the male on the female part. And then eventually the sunbirds will come and they'll rub it all off. And then only then will the female parts mature and then allow pollen from other plants to come. So yeah, it's called pollen presentation. And the anthers are actually, at that point, no longer being used, but they're inside these feathery appendages. Cool, anyway, it's a nice looking flower close up. Mimetes.